You're listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member
Tyler,
of
I'm
the
gonna
Nation
say something
Network
crazy.
Podcasts and delivered by DoorDash.
Mute me,
1
Tyler.
hour straight hockey talk with Dan, Rick, Tyler, and Bag Milk starts now.
You have no idea how fucking crazy that drives me.
A little. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Oilers Nation Radio, episode 167. In case you were wondering why I was talking over the intro, Tyler always mutes us.
I mute the mic so that silence behind the intro, and you guys are like, no, you don't have to mute us. Come on, Tyler, don't baby us. Blah, blah. And
What else did they say?
no, I'm not going to repeat everything else. I was like, fine, I won't mute you guys. And I knew you were going to say shit.
I said you don't have to wipe our butts for us, Tyler, and you didn't. And the intro still worked.
Yeah.
Did work.
Everybody's still here.
Yep.
We made it.
Bag Milk, Dan, Tyler, Rick, we're all here. That's what you missed in the intro when I was talking. And maybe DoorDash. Ding dong. Hello.
Ding dong.
Get yourself something to eat. It's Friday.
Delicious, delicious, delicious.
He's not very happy.
No, Tyler looks upset. Tyler looks rattled. He does not like, we learned today very specifically by Tyler's face, and I know you can't see it right now, dear podcast listener, but he's upset about it. He doesn't like when we talk on the intro.
Nope.
Play the button.
He's got his
I'm
ways.
upset.
I don't know if
It's not queued
I
up.
don't have that one.
Wow.
Those are
That's
really
good. That's
weird
good.
sounding crickets.
That sounds like a shopping cart with a
It sounds
wonky
like,
wheel.
yeah, definitely. It's definitely a sound stage.
The wonky wheel?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
that's a sound stage cricket for sure. That's like the fireplaces when you hear somebody tapping on the keyboard on those TV channel fireplaces. That's how they do it.
Tyler, I'm going to make you happy now, and we're going to get to work.
Yes.
Episode 167 of Oilers Nation Radio is going to start off with a delicious debate from our friends at Oodle Noodle.
Delicious.
If you have DoorDash, ding dong,
debate.
use the promo code OODLE2021 and you will get a discount off your order of $30 or more. And you can use that baby 10 times. It's a nice little discount for you. Try the butter chicken mac and cheese. It's delicious. It's delicious.
General Sonny's chicken.
Also delicious, Dan. Tyler, what is this week's delicious debate for our
This
friends
week's
at Oodle
delicious debate. The last two home games have each featured magical McDavid goals. So the question is, which one was better? The goal against the Rangers or the goal against the Jets?
The interesting thing about both of those goals, too, before the boys give their take, is that almost the identical situation. Dying minutes of the third. Oilers down by one.
Need a goal.
Need a goal. Connor comes through in the clutch and basically a carbon copy of the other. It just depends, I guess, which you prefer. To have him finish with a deke or have him finish with a shot. Dan, I'm going to start with you. Which one was nicer? The one against the Rangers from 2 weeks ago or last night against the Jets?
Well, I think that the other difference between these two is just the start of it. The first one was started off of a bit of a slip up by McDavid, bringing the puck out of the zone, and then he had to kind of make something out of nothing. Whereas the Jets' goal was a almost end-to-end rush, where he ended up getting past what ended up being four guys at the same time as the New York one. So I think it's pretty darn close. But I've actually just changed my mind even just talking there, and I'm going to say the Jets' goal last night is more impressive.
Why?
Because it was a full sheet of ice that McDavid commandeered, and then he went past Hellebuck, who I put a little bit above Georgiev, especially in that game and in that game situation.
Tyler, what do you think?
So you said the full ice makes it more impressive. I'm gonna say the limited ice he used makes it more impressive.
Deacon in the
Because-
phone booth.
Yeah, like he deked in a phone booth. He got up to full speed in like 2 strides, and simple math. Against the Jets, he beat 3 defenders. Against the Rangers, he beat 4. That's more difficult. So I'm going to say the Rangers goal. And also, the arena, I mean, it went bananas after his goal last night, too. The guy who was sitting behind me started grabbing my shoulders.
Oh, nice.
And then he did it again when Turris scored. It was really weird.
No.
He would, like,
Aggressive or a nice soft touch?
No, nice and soft, like cheering, but he would like grab my shoulders and like give me a shake. I was like, ah.
And did he
would
squeeze?
definitely-
Like give like a knowing squeeze or just
No,
No,
it's a squeeze
just-
and a shake.
Yeah, just kind of like,
I'd
a
definitely
person
be
you've
that
never
guy.
spoken to before?
never spoken.
No, it
I
doesn't
do.
matter.
I still do not know who this man is.
We're all
cool.
the same family.
Cool,
We're all the
cool,
same
cool.
family inside that building.
Yeah, I could see Rick doing that.
Oh,
I could
1,000%.
see it once, but then
The next goal too.
I don't know.
didn't shake it off the first time?
I think that's a boundary.
My
though.
BPP
Oh,
is
anyways,
through the
Lord,
roof.
back
you
to
gotta,
the
like,
delicious
high-five
debate.
and- You don't high five people when they score.
We'll save this for the delicious debate next week.
Oof, write it down.
Is it okay to grab people in the stands during the game?
As I would just go ahead and say no, generally speaking. Although Tyler just did say his BPP was off the charts, so
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Who cares?
Anything goes. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to say the Rangers goal is more impressive. That building was rocking after. That was a great night. The 4-1 comeback. It was just all of it goes into it.
Rick?
You know what? After we were able to read the Robbie Shrimp breakdown of the Jets goal, and the way he broke down the fact that I don't know who 17 was, but he slows it down and shows you that 17 kind of
I think that's
he makes a
Lowry.
mistake with his skates, I think is what Robbie said. Yeah. And if you watch, he kind of like commits to one thing. So Connor knew what was going on. He knew what was going to happen when he got past this guy. He just needed to know whether he's going to go wide or, take on the other side. And Lowry gave him the option. He went outside, and it's silly. They're damn near the same thing. Yeah, it's crazy. But I really appreciated the breakdown from Robbie Shrimp.
If you haven't seen the breakdown from Rob Shrimp, it's on Twitter. But luckily for you, I'm going to throw it in the article at Oilersnation.com when this podcast comes out. And if you haven't listened to it, I recommend you go back all the way to episode 24 of Oilers Nation Radio when we talked to Rob Shrimp.
24?
His career, what he's doing now. So
I think he was like one of the first people we ever
We've
reached
done
out to.
140 since then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
To be exact, 143.
Oh, thank you.
Your M-check
Your M-check math. So that
He did
was
that on his calculator too, by the way, on his phone.
No, I'm on Instagram.
That was in February, mid-February of 2019. So we're probably due to get Rob Shrimp back on, especially if he's going to do breakdowns like that.
Oh, it was unreal.
Again, if you haven't seen the video, you don't
Bring
know what
him
I'm
in here.
talking about, it's going to be on the website, Oilersnation.com, when this article goes out for the podcast. Check it out. He does a great job. The only thing it's missing, in my opinion, I would like him to do a VO over it.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
But
A little bit of pausing needed.
Come
for
talk
sure.
to our video department, Rob Shrimp. We can
we can
make
work something out.
So, okay, just a question for you here. Back when he was playing, he was Robbie.
Yes.
Is he now Rob?
Yeah, he's matured.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
he's dropped the feet.
I honestly think that happened while he was with the Oilers.
So is it
in
like
our
a
organization?
Does he
has to be
go
called
Robert in like
Rob,
10
I
more
think.
years?
You
Or
got it.
can you roll Rob to the
You
end?
got to. It's a Robert
Bobby.
in 10 more years. And then when he's actually exactly like Dan said, when he's about a 70-year-old man and he is wearing Tommy Bahama shirts and cargo shorts, then he is.
We have to get him on and ask him this. At
Then
the
he's,
very least.
he's Bobby Shrimp then.
Oh, I thought we were going. I thought he circles back to Robbie at that point.
No, I'm going Bobby Shrimp.
I dig it.
Bobby Shrimp.
Just to wrap up the delicious debate, I'm having a hard time deciding which goal I like better.
You
It's
shouldn't
weird.
have to. Like, dude, you're like picking between your children. This
It
is-
really is.
You know who would have been a great person to ask this question? Jack Michaels.
And again,
I always
so
have great ideas while we're on the pod.
I was thinking about Jack Michaels again last night while he was doing his call because he was great again last night.
Mm-hmm.
We got to start a campaign organically to try and get Jack for the playoffs. I know that's not in Sportsnet's plan right now because he's the regional guy. I get all that. I get the business part of it, but people outside of Edmonton will also like the way he calls games. And he just makes it so exciting. His flowery language, the way he yells at me, down the stretch we come, or whatever he says down in the last
As he's
couple
going
of
to
minutes.
So
ad
good.
break.
It's the best. Jack Michaels, we appreciate you.
He had really big shoes to fill.
He really did.
And blown away at how good he's been.
He really did. So Rod Phillips was an absolute legend, obviously Hall of Famer, banner in the rafters. But when Jack came in, I remember being nervous about it because Rod was the voice of my childhood, really.
Yeah, he didn't like the change to begin with, and this guy was, they didn't take somebody that we knew or we had, you already heard from, brought this new guy in, and he was covering like college games or something.
He was up in Alaska.
He's doing American League games.
I
Yeah,
was going to say.
yeah,
And he was
AHL
doing it in a
games,
different
right?
way. He was doing it all by himself. I didn't know that at the time, but I think it might have even been you, Bag Milk, that taught me that or told me that.
No color man?
But
He
that
had no
was,
color man for over 1,000 American League games.
So that's why he's so
Or East
like
Coast games. Sorry,
That's
East
why you get
Coast.
such a unique kind of flavor from him that you don't hear from most play-by-play
I dig it,
people
man.
because he has that color to splice in there as well.
I just I can't get enough of his calls on games and just having, I don't know, I've listened to him on the radio. Obviously he's been around for over a decade now, but now that he's on TV, that's where I watch most of my games. I only listen to the radio if I'm driving somewhere
And
or
you try not to do that.
yeah. But when he's there on TV and I'm seeing what he's seeing and then his call just adds to it, it's the best. In fact, if Jack is around as long as Rod was, I could
boy.
see myself being an old man at Rogers Place listening to Jack with the
Yes.
headphones while I'm sitting there.
I was just going to say that. He makes me want to do that because whenever I go to a game and I always see everyone on Twitter being like, Jack's call was sick, I'm always like, God damn.
I respect the old boys that do that. They
Yeah.
listen to the radio while they're watching the game at the arena. That's a good move.
Even bigger move when they're like next to their wife.
Yeah.
I remember there was a guy that sat by me at Rexon. I remember being like, whatever, 11, 12, and being like, this guy just sits there with his headphones on, his wife sitting straight up. Like,
Yeah, it's different when you're doing it on your own, but when you're with somebody and you got like the big juicy headphones
Oh,
on.
yeah.
and
Don't
just-
talk to me. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the noise canceling ones there if you're with your wife. You just sit there and enjoy the ambiance.
Or your husband.
Yeah, or whatever. Doesn't matter. Whoever you got with you. Have you ever gone to a game by yourself? Anybody?
Like junior games, but never.
I would go to. I have a buddy who goes to games often by himself.
I'd have no issues.
I didn't mind going to junior games. Like it allows you to just kind of be a part of it, like be a student of the game, and you're watching it and you're kind of having your own internal dialogue.
Aside from like games I've worked, obviously for junior games I've gone by myself. The only sporting event I've ever attended and like went up, bought a ticket by myself was when the Davis Cup came to Rexall and I knew Dennis Shapovalov was playing. Yeah. I literally it was like a Sunday afternoon. I drove out there myself. I walked up to the booth. I was like, 1 ticket, please. They're like, where do you want to sit? I was like, wherever. I don't care.
Somewhere close, I think.
And I bought a program and I like sat there by myself. And
I would do it, I think.
Tennis.
I have no issues with it.
I don't either.
I've never actually done it.
I've never done it either,
like,
but I could
when
do
your
it.
buddy leaves and goes to the bathroom and something like that, and nothing changes. Like I just sit there and I yell like an idiot either way.
Yeah, you're a good person just around other people.
Yeah, you're just a good person, Rick.
That's the perfect opportunity. You go there. You got the headphones in.
Yeah.
Listening to Jack, enjoying a cocktail, watching the game. And actually, now I'm thinking about you, Rick. If you were listening to headphones with Jack, just thinking of how loud Rick would be yelling because he's probably not
he doesn't
recognizing
regulate
his
his voice.
really
he doesn't
loud.
regulate
Yeah.
his volume. It'd be good.
Oh, it'd be the
Be
best.
great.
I'm surprised I don't hear you on TV sometimes, to be honest.
I try, honestly. I'm blown away how some people can't hear me. And I wait for it to come down. Obviously, I'm like, hey, turn the music. I got something good here. Like, turn the music down. And those guys last night again.
The good news is, behind the scenes at Nation HQ, we're starting to plan out road trips again to Calgary, going to Nashville.
Did your phone tell you what happened 2 days ago?
No.
No,
Oh, maybe.
It was like 3 years ago. We did the Calgary trip, the one where they the chicken wings on the dash of the vehicle.
Oh my God.
As we're leaving town.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That
So
was 3 years ago.
we're driving to Calgary for a Nation road trip down. We had a bus full of citizens going down. Blizzarding snow that
That was
day.
the one we almost died on.
That was
I forgot about
We
that.
almost didn't die. The little car would have hit us, and they were not going to feel very good.
The
We
bus
wouldn't
would have just been on its
noticed.
side or something.
We
but
wouldn't even noticed.
we all of a sudden hear a loud shrieking from the back of the bus from Lisa Evans from Play 107, screaming bloody murder. And then you look out that side of the window. There is a truck perpendicular to the bus looking at us in the windows, sliding sideways down Highway 2. And we were just like, whoa. But I wish I could remember our bus driver's name because like an absolute champion. Ice in his veins.
Was that the dude who was rolling in the Flames jersey first and swapped to the Oiler one?
Yep.
He just casually pulls the bus
Gus,
over,
something.
does a loop, and then now we're down Highway 2A because we got to
Yeah, we had
avoid
to
the
go-
mess.
Go a different direction.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
We ran out of music on that playlist,
That was a professional.
but it was a good time. We were alive.
We made it to the game.
We did get there. Oh, and by the way, I think I like the Rangers goal better.
Oh, yeah. And that's a wrap on your delicious debate.
Delicious.
Some guy grabbed my
delicious.
shoulders and we told a story about a bus trip.
And a couple of minutes of praising Jack Michaels. So there's your Oodle Noodle Delicious debate. Let us know, ON Radio Podcast, Twitter and Instagram, which goal you like better. They're very close, very identical. Situations are very close. Actually, I might flip-flop. I might say the Jets because the Jets are like the rivalry the Oilers have
I
brewing with
hate
the
the
Jets.
fucking Jets.
That's the point. So to have it happen against the Jets when they needed a goal, when they were down, and of course it's fucking Nick Ehlers. This guy is lights out against the Oilers.
Yeah.
So to have him give the Jets the lead and then Connor come back and do that, maybe I'm flip-flopping.
I love how mad Yakupov used to make them.
Oh, yeah, that was fun too.
They used to go nuts. I honestly do believe that. I guess that's probably when they came back in the AHL was like when Yak was here. But that's when that rivalry started again. We had issues when they hated Yak for whatever reason.
There's nothing like my blood was boiling last night watching the fucking two Jets D-man flop around when Benson got
And
his
then
two
they
penalties.
laugh. And then they laugh.
And
right
then they
afterwards.
laugh, and then you have to sit there and watch McDavid get the shit kicked out of him every second shift and get like dragged onto.
Guess who put his arm up?
Skilleter.
I just want to say about the Jets connection too. The Jets were the last team we played before the world shut down, so they're bad.
True.
And they beat us.
It's their fault.
They're also the team that started
Pandemic
the
caused by the Jets.
sacrifice. They started the sacrifice for 500.
Is that true?
Yes, that was the night that I predicted that the Oilers were going to win, and that I would wear shorts until they were above 500. Was the night that we lost the Winnipeg Jets 3-0, and the rest is history.
I've eaten so many beats since then.
Yep.
I've eaten so many beats. This past week.
Yeah, what'd you eat this
Not
week?
even beats now. They're just weird shit.
Yeah,
being sent to
people.
you.
So now,
Oh, he has
if
to
you-
diversify, you guys.
Weird German candy. The Germans were like, we don't even eat that shit.
So now if you donate to the Edmonton Food Bank and you send me a screenshot, you can make a request on the BCast, so it's not just the same thing over and over again. And this week, good Lord. So I'm going to pull his name up here really quickly, but they were these German salt licorice candies.
Nice.
And
Like black licorice too, right?
Sounds really good.
black licorice. So like when I got them, I'm like, okay, black licorice isn't my favorite, but I can manage. It's fine. So this is at Peter on a Bike requested this, at Peter on a Bike. So he donated to the food bank. He's like, try these. I'm like, okay, black licorice, not my favorite, but I can get through. These things, they don't belong in anyone's mouth. Whoever invented these should be in prison. These
Taste like the ocean? Did it taste like the ocean?
It tastes like dirty ocean.
There you go.
Danny ocean.
Future ocean.
It was awful. So I think I ate 4 or 5 of them. And then I'm like, all right, maybe the 6th one will be better. And then I just spat it on the table. It was disgusting. And then I was taking shit from a bunch of German and Dutch Oilers fans. Are like, no, those ones are really good. You got to mix it with a Mentos or something. I'm like, wow.
What the fuck?
I don't need my
need a
candies to
chaser?
have a chaser.
You know what I think of when I eat black licorice? This could go nice with some mint.
And then what I found out, so I got the doubles out. The doubles out is the twice salted. I found out there's triple salt.
Oh.
And
So it gets worse.
It's like a cow leg.
it really is. It's like something you would give to horses, but I would never give this to an animal. You'll get charged for that shit these days. So I don't know what's wrong with German people and their candies, but a lot of people need to go to jail.
I appreciate the fact you don't save any of that shit and bring it here for us on the day after.
You know what? I have a half a bag left of these things.
Good one,
Should.
Rick.
I'm
Absolutely.
thinking that.
We used to do the hot sauce challenge here.
Well, that just reminds me. So I've got half a bag left of these things. I'm thinking we come up with some kind of trivia game. Maybe the listeners can help me out on it for the boys for next week. I'll participate too. And if
you
you
should
get
just
the
keep all the
questions
terrible
wrong,
stuff you have to eat.
it doubles out. Doubles out for the boys.
It sounds like you're saying it doubles out.
I don't know, it
why.
might. And then on the packaging, even worse, Dan, is it says best recipe ever. Well, you're a fucking liar.
Or it is the best recipe ever.
That's a little
I don't
scary
want to
to think
taste
about.
what the last recipe was.
This is iteration 66.
Ugh. Thankfully, you can't get these things with our friends from DoorDash. DoorDash refuses to bring them to your house. I've checked. And check them out on the app. Download it on the Apple or Android store, wherever you're at. DoorDash, if you're hungry this weekend, grab something. All right, we got a little bit of serious biz to get to. This morning, we woke up, news, Philip Broberg recalled. We're like, oh, okay,
Must
that
be
makes
because of
sense.
Slater Koekkoek.
Slater Koekkoek went down last night. Went for a hit against, what's his pickle? Svechnikov. Missed, hit the boards. Okay, makes sense. Then, a little birdie whispers in my ear that Darnell Nurse has also heard. So I immediately call Gregor. I'm like, Gregor, I've heard this. Can you confirm? Gregor calls me 2 seconds later, and he's like, yep, and he's out for weeks. So,
At what point did you break down and cry?
well, I've been crying the whole time.
Fair.
That's why now at Nation HQ, our TVs are up, and we're watching Oilers highlights. Now I feel better.
We almost
Now I
didn't
feel
do
sad
this
again.
because that game 6 was from 06 was on.
Yeah, the first round against the Red Wings. Fantastic. We were watching Paul Lorio do the anthem. We're like, we should probably go record this or we're not leaving these chairs. So, Tyler, last night on the BCast, you joined me. I'm going to pump my own tires. I said Philip Broberg is going to be recalled. You said Bag Milk, not yet. Here he is. So
I thought it was just going to be Lagesson. If I would have known Nurse was hurt, I would have agreed.
So
you thought
let's just-
Lagesson was going to come first?
Yeah, I thought Lagesson was going to come up because I thought it was a Koekkoek replacement. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they're not going to bring up Broberg just to sit in the press box, right?
So now
I
we get
see, I see.
Willie Lags and we got Broberg. Both are coming up. Duncan Keith, in the interim, is now our number one left-handed defenseman. Tyler, how do you feel about that?
Boy, that depth chart is it's thin, baby. Like, you lose your number one D-man, there's not a lot behind old Darnell Nurse.
We're rolling
Well,
three
that's-
number 2s.
That said, I wouldn't feel that much.
At
more-
best. At
that's
best. At
generous.
best. At best.
I wouldn't
Keith
feel
has
much
been-
more comfortable with Caleb Jones in that spot either.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm not to say
Yes,
that.
I agree.
You know
No,
what
I
I mean?
agree
The
with you,
situation we
100%.
were in.
I agree.
But the fix was not better than the.
It's just like I think that all of us would be on the same page. Is the plan should have been somehow to get Duncan Keith to move down in the lineup,
Yes.
not necessarily move up.
Hey, listen, we watched Bouchard push people down in the lineup.
Yep.
We watched Ethan Bear push people down in the lineup a couple years ago. I know it's hopeful and whatnot, and I'm the optimistic one, but Let's see what Broberg can do.
Well, and it's not like we're talking about an extended period where we're talking about months without your top defenseman.
We're talking 3 games. Best case
4 games,
scenario,
5 games.
if it's 2 weeks, it's 5 games.
And that's a thing where this is why you've gone 12-4, and that's why it's a good thing.
So important that you're 12-4 because like you bank wins, you bank the points, and every team has injuries.
Yeah.
What sucks though is that
Colorado's done McKinnon. Pittsburgh's gone through their shit.
Yeah. What
Right.
sucks is that
Nurse.
the Oilers just lost 3 pieces in 2 games to the Jets. Derek Ryan out with a concussion after Scheifele hit him from behind. No call. They end up getting a goal on the play. Fucking refs. Then, last night, Darnell Nurse and Slater Koekkoek both go down. So that is a costly mini-series against the Jets.
But have we not found something in the meantime? In number 74 in the goal in the crease?
We're definitely going to talk about Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
But I just want to get through this first. So going through these next handful of games, sans Nurse, how do you think this is going to get split up in terms of just the pairings?
Well,
Now,
and that's
there's-
and
he
there's an
slides
interesting
up to
part there.
Barrie?
Yeah. That's I think what kind of has been talked about at least for tomorrow's game is Keith and Cece is our top pairing because the other guys that are called up can't get up here fast enough. I don't think to be slotted in for a game.
Broberg should
tomorrow
be able
night.
to get here
For sure. They should be
Well,
here
I
by
know,
tonight.
but he's not. But you're not putting him up on the top pairing.
No, not without a practice.
So it's Keith and Cece as our number 1 guys.
That makes sense.
So I don't think we're going to roll it like that. I don't think you're
Why
going to
not?
roll. I think you're going to have to roll it. It's going to be juggled the whole damn time. It's not going to be it's not going to be 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 5-on-5. We'll put these 2 out there. I think things are going to be very sporadic and change up the whole time. I don't see there being any guaranteed pairings. You're going to roll with the whole time. I see these guys are all be interchangeable as you try and figure out what you have and how things work.
Cody Cece's now their most trustworthy defenseman.
Yeah.
Bouchard maybe as well. I
Bush
guess.
is working his way in there.
Yeah, Bush is. But like, if you're protecting a lead late in the game tomorrow, like
Who do you throw up?
Cece and
Or
Keith,
power
I
play.
guess, right? Yeah,
Well,
you just put the fucking power
that's the
play in.
thing. Yeah, I don't know. In a tight game, I don't know who you go with.
Because like I don't trust Cody or I don't trust Duncan Keith right now. He was brutal.
Last night was not as great as game.
No.
It's yeah.
So like I mean, fuck. I hope Broberg's good. But the positive side of this is, like you kind of said, we've seen young defensemen come up before and really surprise us.
Yep.
Man, if Broberg comes in and surprises us, this could be like a nice little turning point.
Because at the
in
very
season.
least, is if Broberg comes up and surprises and plays well, he can push Koekkoek or Russell down if he stays on that third.
But he
pair,
also
which I
lets them
think
play
he
like
will.
normal minutes for them in a game, and all of a sudden that pairing isn't that bad anymore because they're playing their normal minutes against their normal competition.
Hopefully.
But yeah,
in theory.
obviously this is the optimistic best case scenario.
All I know is that after last night's win, seeing Darnell Nurse out for weeks, not great. Not great.
Gregor tweeted out a clip of him blocking a shot with his hand. By the
so
way.
it looks like it's his right hand. He's holding his stick, and his hand's down, so your fingers aren't really exposed. So if he does, I think it'd be like your first knuckles.
Is that a confirmed?
No, but
That's
if
where
you're,
it happened, or is that what he's assuming?
that Gregor
that's what
sent out a
they're
video.
assuming.
Got it.
And it's 8 seconds left in the game.
Yep.
He puts
Just
his
curious.
wrist down kind of like a blocker, takes the shot off of there. So worst case scenario, it'd be like that first little part of your knuckles. If it's not a bad break, I could see it being 2 weeks. Being his right hand, I think it sucks a little bit more because that's the hand you have to like use a stick a little bit more. If it's his left, it'd be a little bit different. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. 2 weeks could be okay.
Related to Darnell Nurse blocking that shot, how about the fucking penalty kill last night, killing off a double minor, heading
talk about it.
into 3-on-3 overtime? Like,
So there
killing
was-
off a 4-on-3 is hard.
Let's talk about the PK because last night I brought it up on the B-cast again. Everybody was excited about it. The 2 calls against Benson in the second period, both
Terrible.
bullshit calls.
Just
But
embarrassing.
I felt bad for the guy because he's trying to work his way into the lineup, gets 2 calls back to back. You could just see it on his face. I'm sure part of it was annoyance by the call that was just happening in the first place. But second, he's just like, fuck, back to the
Why
bench
me?
again. Oilers took care of both of those. Done. But then when McDavid gets the double minor against Scheifele late in the third period, I will admit, in a moment of honesty, this is a safe space and nobody's listening anyway. I'm just like, oh, fuck. Just get to overtime and get the point.
Get the point. Yeah. That's
Just
what I was
get the
thinking.
point. That's what I was thinking.
I
expecting
guarantee
a
you
loss.
that's what the players were at too. Like they're not thinking anything but right.
Well, you get to overtime, you get the point.
Stretch it
Okay,
out.
now we'll
Yeah,
figure it
100%.
out from here.
Yep. But like, and then in that power play, there's 2 missed calls, at least one for sure on Hyman where he goes down.
Yeah.
Looks like he tripped over a ridge in the ice if he didn't trip over the guy's stick that was right underneath his blade. But like, it's just yeah, I don't know.
Graham Skilleter, man.
It's so exhausting to have to keep talking like this. It's really frustrating. You hear everybody talk about it, right? It's like, wow, the NHL is expected to call its own rule book, and they're fighting on that. Like, we continue to have this debate, and we continue to get into these conversations, and everybody just kind of sinks down because it's the same conversation.
We talked about it yesterday on Real Life. The thing that's interesting to me about this, Dan, is that Oilers fans, of course, we're going to complain about calls not being called against McDavid. We're watching all the time, but I think the interesting thing now is that people outside the market are also talking about it. Yeah. You've got the Frank Saravalli saying, you got to call this shit. You've got even Spittin' Chicklets talking about it. Ryan Whitney's raging on Twitter about it. You've got more people noticing it. Obviously, nothing's changing.
I do. Well, okay. I do think against Buffalo, they took a billion penalties, and it was because the previous two games were blown up, and then everybody got involved in it, not just Edmonton people. That, when it came to Buffalo, there were a lot of calls. But then it went away again.
But that's even frustrating as well when you get to a game like Buffalo, and there's like 7 power plays, and it's like even if we're not the stuff that gets called on the Oilers, there's just this weird element of randomness to it, right? Where you'll sit there and it'll be like, obvious thing missed, cheeky tripping call, bang, arm up, right? And like even last night, there was a couple times where I was like, oh, Oilers probably could have gotten one there, That might have been interference. And then Benson, it's like a retaliatory slash in front of the net that's like pretty soft.
DeMello just throws the head back.
Like he got shot.
And so for me, one of the, like with my Hockey Fights gig, one of the things that I do every night is I look through every box score, like it's like the game summary that they have. And you do see games where it's way skewed, right? One team just takes every penalty one night. The Oilers never get that. We never have that. And obviously it's anecdotal information. I'm just saying it and nobody can prove me wrong.
We never get the one with a lot of power
plays.
But
it just feels like, we don't have the one where the ledger is really tilted for the Oilers.
It's because
it's usually pretty even.
Yeah, because when they do get a lot of penalties, they turn around and call them back on us as the thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
So last night against the Jets got 5 chances with the man advantage. Oilers perfect on the PK there, but the PP over 2 last night. So I want to talk about the power play now. It's cooled off a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not to say that they're bad. They're not. They're good. But they have gone a couple of games where it's just doesn't look quite the same.
I think it's just coming back to earth maybe isn't the right thing because it's still
other
the
teams
best.
Adjusting for sure.
Yeah, other teams adjusting a little bit. And I think that's just the way the power play is going to go this year. Like they'll have another stretch over 10 games where they run it like 70% over the 10 games and it'll bring their average back up. And, they'll have a 10-game stretch where they're 50 and a 10-game stretch where they're 10. But I'm still holding on to, I think they'll be 40% by the end of the year. I still think that's right in there.
You know what we're going to see more, though, in the next 2 weeks is Papa Bush on that power play.
Yep.
Because when Barry comes off, Nurse ain't going out there now.
That's an interesting thing.
That's going to be an interesting thing, too, because
he may win his spot
if one
in
thing
the next 2 weeks.
Bouchard can do well is get shots through, or just in general, his willingness to fire it at the net is something that I think more of the Oilers defensemen probably need in their game.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, too. I think that one thing I've noticed with the power play is that they continue to try and make the beautiful plays. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I love that they're capable of making that extra pass here and there. But sometimes those just aren't going to go your way. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Like Tyler said, if you're connecting on those passes, you're going to be up at that 70% clip all the
those
time.
Cross ice to Leon for the one-timer.
Instead of
those, you got to start shooting from the short side.
And that'll
open up those passes again.
100%.
I'm not worried about the power play, by the way.
God,
no.
It's just it's interesting to note. That's all.
Didn't they get 2 that road game against the Jets? Or was it just 1?
Might have been 1. I can look at that.
Either way.
Quickly.
The other big story from last night, are we going to get to that?
What is it?
Kyle Turris in the shootout.
Oh, sure.
Was that what it is?
That
Kyle
was
Turris guy?
I love the Kyle Turris revenge tour. Yeah, that was great.
It was funny, though, when watching Twitter last night during the shootout, it was like, Connor, okay, that makes sense. Leon, okay, yeah. Kyle Turris?
But, who else would you put there?
Darnell Nurse, I guess, but he was injured.
Nuge, I guess. But, the funny thing is that everybody's like, Kyle Turris, and then he scores, and they're like, hell yeah, Kyle Turris. But then when you dig into it,
Turris,
historically, he's solid in the shootout.
Yeah.
He's 2 for 2 this year.
But we have always had that. Like, what the hell are you guys putting out?
Matt Hendricks?
Yeah, the paralyzer for.
That was
why? Go watch this.
It's almost like the coaches and the players know themselves and know their skill levels.
Don't forget, Turris came into the league as a high-end offensive guy, right?
Yeah.
So those hands don't go away, especially when it's just a breakaway.
Well, they do.
Not when it's just a breakaway.
But in a very I think in a very controlled situation, yes, you're right.
Yeah, in a breakaway, you're laughing.
Yeah.
I would like to take some credit for this because during the second intermission, I was just sitting in my seat next to my girlfriend, and we were talking. She was like, "Was Kyle Turris ever good?" And I was like, "Yeah, like he used to be like sick. Like he used to make like $6 million a year. He was like top 6 centerman, blah blah." And then I pulled up the Turris shootout goal when he played for Arizona, and he just did a little tink off the skates and then ripped it top shelf. And I showed that to her in the second intermission, and then Turris scored.
Nice.
You showed her.
In case you've forgotten, Kyle Turris, back in 2014-15 with the Ottawa Senators, 24 goals, 40 assists, 64 points. That's a fine season. That was his career high.
What was he drafted overall?
Like
Third.
8th, right? Third?
Third in 2007 by the
There you go.
Phoenix Coyote.
So that was the Taves year, right?
Patrick Kane.
Kane, yeah.
Okay, year.
And then JVR number 2.
I doubted myself. I was going to say Kane, but I didn't.
And
Sorry.
in 2007, let's go. I'm probably just going to hate that I'm looking this up.
Who we took?
Yep.
Pouliot?
Not going to be
In 07?
No, that was.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, we took the 3 guys. We had Riley Nash, we had Sam Gagner, and we had Alex Plant.
Oh, there you go. That worked out well.
Good pull.
Riley Nash was
Riley
he not
Nash
in the
of the
lineup?
Winnipeg Jets.
the
Yeah,
Winnipeg-
Riley Nash is playing.
Oh, we
on that.
played him we play him against Carolina, we play him against Boston, we play him there was like this guy's trash, get him off the team. The guy's been in the league for 15 years. Plant's playing in China, but hey.
Yeah. We've now made it 30 minutes. We haven't talked about Stuart Skinner.
I brought him up once.
We're going to get there.
Skinner.
We're going to get there. We got lots to talk about Stuart Skinner. Hometown boy. First home start for the kid.
With crowd.
With crowd.
Sick goalie.
Oh, was he at a home start for him last year?
Yeah, against Ottawa, I think it was.
That barely counts. Are you sure about that?
Hunter was there.
I'm like 90% sure. Hunter wasn't there. They banished him from the rink last year.
Tyler was there.
I was there.
Oh, yeah. You were just humble bragging like all the time. Oh, I'm going to
I know.
these
Every
silent
episode.
games by myself.
Every episode, we got it in perspective from Tyler.
I just go
inside the
sit in
building.
all the seats. Why? Because I can.
I sat in 40 seats at the game. So I just ran around, put my ass in different seats. Yeah, it was in Edmonton, January 31st. They beat Ottawa.
Well, there you go. So his second home start, first with the crowd. We're going to talk about Stuart Skinner in a minute. Last thing I just wanted to touch on from last night's game. Cassian scrapped against a giant man.
Yeah, I didn't think he had to
Large
do that
human.
one.
That is
6'7".
I think he got to skate it away.
boat.
Logan Stanley dropped his shit first, and I thought Zach was going to.
Instead of Cassian fighting him, they should have put Yamamoto and Derek Ryan in a trench coat.
Yes. Yes, because, of course, Stanley hit
huge.
Draisaitl from behind the game before. So a little bit of payback a night before. But as they were squaring off, as they were going at it, I was just like, oh, boy. Just don't get hurt, Cass. Don't get hurt.
I was just hoping he's like, just keep it to the middle. Like, keep inside so he can't get that full punch at you.
Well, Cassian recognized it right from the get-go.
He knew exactly
deep
what
breath,
he was dealing with.
Big deep breath before that one started.
There we go.
And then and he was, like we have Rob Schremp breaking down McDavid's looks. Cassian was looking everywhere for his escape routes. He was because that referee. There was a referee behind him waving his hands, and then that distracted Cassian. And Stanley tried to jump the gun there and almost got a hold of Cassian right at the start.
So I think he was
in defensive mode.
Tentative.
At that point.
He knew he was fighting a giant.
Because you can't when you come up into a fight like that, you can't let that big guy be extended. And
No, you need to
you gotta
stay
be on the
inside.
inside.
It's like watching Pat Maroon fight Big Z there the other night.
The other night, yeah.
So-
You get in and you hug up close.
When you're going up against a dude that I'm looking at his NHL page, listed at 6'7",
Yeah, what's his
228
wingspan on there, though?
4 inches. I
That
think,
fucking guy's a
longer than Cass.
pterodactyl. So all just last night as that fight's happening, Cassian's helmet popped off. I'm like, hey, you guys get in there right now. You guys get in there right now.
The only time you ever say that in a
That
hockey
was
fight
like
is when you see a guy.
you watch him. That was like a scientific fight for him. Like this, you get into a lot of them, and he just starts swinging. Right?
the last
He knew he was
few have-
fighting a giant and had to like work on his science for
The
this.
last few fights, if you go back and watch his fight against Cassian against Goodbranson, and who was the one in
From Calgary.
that guy.
What's his pickle?
Yeah,
he's-
that one.
Yep.
Anyways, his fights are getting a little bit more cerebral now, where it's a thinking man's fight instead of, like you said,
Good. You mean
all
you have to. You
offense
kinda last
and
longer doing that.
and blasting away. So I've noticed that with him, and a lot of fight fans don't like that. But
Well, I was going to ask you, what was the feedback on hockey fights from that?
it wasn't great for that fight. No fight last night. There was 5 fights last night, and no fight got over, I think, 4.2. So not a great fight night. But a lot of fight fans just don't like it when you start dancing in circles.
That wasn't a great fight though.
No, not quality wise, like not event wise, but I enjoy it because you can you can actually see like both him and Stanley in that cat and mouse game that you have.
He's trying to find when he can
one
swing.
human can destroy another. And so like Cassian is in survival mode there. And I find that really fascinating because Cassian is the aggressor, but he's surviving that fight with
He was
Stanley.
just looking for an opportunity to throw that punch
and make a
without
point.
leaving himself wide
100%.
open for a counter that's going to
He got one in.
put him into next week.
I-
Did Stanley really did
really.
he land anything?
Not really.
No, there was nothing really connected at
Either
all
way,
on that.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
I think
Anyways.
I think Zach landed a left. But that was about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have scored it for either. I think it's split right now on hockeyfights.com.
What I'd recommend, though, is that if Zach Cassian is going to find giant human beings like Stanley, I would recommend going over to cornerstoneins.ca
Doing what?
and making sure that you
Insurance,
have the
obviously.
proper insurance just in case something happens, Tyler.
Ensure
Whether
those
that's
knuckles.
Auto, residential, commercial, life insurance specifically.
Just ask for David.
You can go to cornerstoneins.ca, and on the left-hand side of the screen, there's a little button that says Citizens of the Nation. Click on that, baby. You'll get yourself a discount. Zach
Do that.
Cassian or Zach Lang. I recommend it. There you go.
Did you just threaten Zach Lang on the airbag milk?
That's right, I did.
Nice.
That's right, I did. Tyler, you want to talk about Stuart Skinner? I want to talk about him too.
They play the Skinner in the arena. It's great.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I like it.
47 shots directed his way last night, 46 saves and a 979. It does not get much better than that. My question for you guys. Well, number one, does he start tomorrow in Chicago? I say yes.
Has to.
Yes.
Has to. How can
Yes.
Dave Tippett walk into that room and be like, we're going with Mikko?
Especially
no.
because the game after that's like next Tuesday or something like that. So there's plenty of rest time afterwards.
I think it's up to Mikko myself.
They ask him.
I still think, I think it's an ask of Mikko because Mikko has.
Oh, you're
earned
being
the right
serious?
Yes, 100%.
You think
you're
Mikko
not.
decides?
Shut up.
Mikko decides?
I don't think Skinner needs to. I don't
What?
think Skinner needs to be put back in there after facing 42 shots.
He just stopped 45 shots.
Yeah,
He just
exactly.
made
He's the
those
first
saves.
star.
I
Are you
think-
going to
I
take
think you
Connor
give him
out
a
because he
break.
scored too many goals?
No, that's a different. That's a
No,
different
that's
position
Derek
altogether.
Ryan's decision. Like what?
I'm good.
Derek Ryan should be making those choices, in my opinion, but that's just me. I don't know.
He might
Dan,
be.
with
He's got
all
a lot
due
of time on
respect,
his
that
hands
makes
right now.
no fucking sense
I'm good
at
with
all.
going, but right back to Mikko. Give him another chance to do it. We're gonna have to. We're gonna need a good effort against Chicago. Looking at the defense, we're gonna need a good effort, and I don't need Skinner to get 45 shots against him again.
Why? You look good.
He looked fine, but again, I don't think
say
we
better
need to
than
mess
fine.
with it.
But
Go
yeah, no,
back
I
to
don't see
Costa.
the logic. I can't find the logic in that. I honestly, I go back to Skinner right now.
And then if
I think
Mikko
it
has a
rolled
bad
the-
game, you go back to Skinner right after that.
Yeah,
I'd be
no, I
doing.
rode
So
the
I'm
hot
looking at the
horse.
schedule right now. I'd be going back to Skinner tomorrow against the Blackhawks. Blackhawks are coming into town, 4 straight wins for them.
Which is crazy.
They're turning things around a little bit. They're still dog shit, but like
calm
this
down
is a
on
game
turning things around.
that they. Well, I mean, 4 straight wins is what it is. I would give it to Skinner. Like if he got a shutout last night, default there go back to him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, but
That was damn well a
Pretty
shutout.
much did.
more or less. Perfect shot by Oilers is the only thing that beat him. So I go back to Skinner
Got it.
tomorrow, and then Tuesday against Dallas, I would go back to Mikko.
Unless Skinner plays really, really well again.
Yeah, I
then
think I think you judge it after Saturday.
You know, it's not like we have this like bona fide number 1 stud goalie. Like Mikko Koskinen's been
Mike
good
Smith.
this year.
He's been playing very well.
Well, I wouldn't even call Smith that. Like I keep rolling with Skinner until he loses the crease. It's his crease now, and that's the way this goalie system should work.
Watch out now that we have all these weird injuries and things, and we're bringing up all these guys from Baco. That everyone said, "Oh, this Baco team could probably come in." Watch these guys start taking over.
The other thing,
Skinner, Broberg.
Because the guy that played well on the road trip too and got his first NHL goal, Ryan McLeod, is looking
Clowder.
much better.
very good. He's moving his feet really well and starting rushes.
Would you ever? And I know my answer on this. Would you ever consider bringing Marody up for another try?
I
I
would.
think his
At the
boots
can?
are too slow. Isn't that the word on him?
That's always been
He's checking his phone.
the knock against him.
Yeah, what's going on Instagram over there?
Nothing. I was going to Google something.
I like where would you put him? 4th line is probably where he'd have to go
Yeah, most likely, unless you want to take one of the guys from the 3rd line and drop him down a spot.
because that'd be Cassian then on the right side. Cassian's not moving.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to go back to Skinner again
Okay, go ahead.
because I feel like we haven't talked about this enough because
for it.
that was fucking unbelievable last night.
One, mustache, fantastic.
Great mustache.
And it's not a November thing either.
No. That is a well-groomed duster.
Yeah. last year, Carolina, they had Alex Nedeljkovic on waivers at the start of the year. No one claimed him. He ended up coming through and being like a huge part of their team down the stretch and into the playoffs. October of 2018, the St. Louis Blues put Jordan Binnington on waivers. No one claimed him. He comes up in January, steals the starter's job, wins the Stanley Cup that year. It is not the most insane thing in the world to think Stuart Skinner could be here for the rest of the season.
Okay, so you were at the game last night, so you wouldn't have heard this on TV. Stauffer, in the intermission, was talking about Stuart Skinner, 23 years old. The Oilers don't want to rush him, and maybe he's not quite ready yet. Your response, Tyler?
Why can't he be ready?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm not Bob Stauffer.
He's not being given 41 games right now. He's been given a game.
Yeah.
He got a green check mark, and you move on to the next step. It's step by step. You're not asking him to come in and be one of your top 2 goaltenders. You have an injury. He's getting put into places. He's succeeding. That's exactly what you do in your career.
By the way, Mike Smith put on the LTIR this morning. Our friends at Puckpedia saying that's most likely just a cat move.
Hold on. I don't know if I can find it. I think Tippett said something about...
Gazzola said he's not skating.
Yeah, so it said week to week or something like that, and someone's tweet out there said Tippett said at least. Like, he made the reference to the fact that it's not something close right now.
Fucking 2-year contract.
Which is not unexpected, right? We all knew that this was going to happen.
Man, I'm 36 and I hurt myself getting off the couch.
For Smith, it's his history. He's been injured now for the last three seasons in a row, for somewhat of an extended period every time. That's why the Oilers have Koskinen. And that's why they have Skinner, I guess. Like, I don't know. That's why people have been clamoring for another goalie for a while.
I think that the Oilers are very, very lucky right now in the sense that Mikko, outside of, he's played mostly very well.
Yeah.
And then Stuart Skinner has played very well. So the Oilers are really lucky right now in terms of what their goaltending is doing for them. But if that
goaltending
stops
isn't
at any
winning
point,
games for them. They're just not losing.
Not losing games.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not losing. Although I would argue that Skinner arguably probably won them that game last night.
Probably.
Although, because like down at the,
without a doubt, like it's not even close.
When you're going face to face or like head to head with Connor Hellebuck at the other end, and he played very well, point blank saves all over the place, and they were trading them back and forth.
And the other thing too, like how many posts did the Jets hit? One maybe,
2.
1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Ehlers definitely hit one earlier.
Yeah, and even the saves Skinner made, like he made a couple that were really good saves, but they weren't like the holy shit I'm out of position sprawling with the glove hand across. Like he just looked so solid the whole game.
He's a big guy who's solid. He played his angles very well. There were no real rebounds giving out. The first game against Detroit he played, right? Mm-hmm. I thought there was a lot of drop pucks or something like that where he's a little bit nervous and there's a little fishing around the crease. I don't know if that was on him or not. You really can't tell. But that was gone.
Speaking of
there's still some fishing.
Speaking around the fishing around the crease, did you see when Duncan Keith took the puck away from him in the crease as he was going to cover it? I almost had a heart attack.
That was just a broken play, and they were all That was.
I know, but
that was a miscommunication. That's all it was generally. But like, man, I almost shit my shorts there. I didn't know Stuart Skinner was 6'4". He is a big dude.
Dude, I swear to God, it seems like he's taller than that. Or I'm getting shorter.
I think Connor Hellebuck had to be better than Stuart Skinner was yesterday, though. I think the Oilers shot or had their better chances.
The Jets did have a lot of outside shots.
Yeah, I just felt like as much as I enjoyed Skinner's performance, and I'm not down.
Why you bring him down?
Dan is
Stuart
anti
Skinner.
You're like
he's throwing him in the same bag he had with Leon there.
Well, I think that we've had a couple of games now, like the game against Nashville and the game against Buffalo, where you just sometimes you come up against a goalie that has a hell of a night. Like, what was Dustin Tokarski doing?
I don't even think it was that much about Tokarski, but he just. The puck just didn't go in somehow.
Well,
I don't think he was making just badass saves. We just couldn't score for some weird ass reason.
When you have Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid as the guys that are the weapons that are doing it, it should go in.
My boys got to learn how to put the puck on net, though.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Connor and Leon need to shoot the fucking pill more than they do, man. It drives me. Like, I get it. They're world-class playmakers, but there's so many times they come in on a rush and they try to feather it across on a 2-on-1, and I'm like, man, you guys both have great shots. Like, especially Draisaitl.
And everybody's expecting a pass.
Everyone's expecting a pass. Draisaitl can rip the fucking pill, and he just holds on, tries to seam a pass. And it's like, shoot it 5-0, man. Like, remember the OT winner against the Rangers?
Yep.
He literally he made Georgiev look like a shooter-tutor.
Just pulled him across a bit and opened him up and put it right through.
Just do that. Just shoot the puck. Be selfish, you guys.
Even 13 needs to hit the net.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. He keeps missing. High and wide.
He had, like...
Over.
Last night, too, though, he had a couple of just grade A chances, and... right into the glove or just a little bit high.
But I
did
love
hit
that
the
he's
shot
shooting.
prop though last night.
I do like that he's shooting. That's a huge thing.
That's
right?
that's his game, and he knows he has to do that in order to stay there.
Keep
He'll
doing
get it.
Yep.
I'm not worried about Jesse at all. Not at all. Tyler, are you satisfied
Never
with the
have been.
Stuart Skinner chat?
Yeah, I think we gave it enough time. I think we're good.
Any last words on Stuart Skinner?
No. I mean, if Mikko Koskinen will allow him to play on Saturday, then I think they should go right back.
Is he going to keep 74? That's his thing?
Yeah, so actually Zach Lang wrote about it today, and
Something
I'll
about
give
his
you a
brothers or
little...
something,
It's because he has 74 brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah, they had choose a couple between like 71, 74 or something like that.
So Stuart Skinner said on 74, he said, growing up, I had 3 brothers. My first brother that was born, he's always been 71. My next brother was 72. The next brother after that was 73. So I had to decide between 70 and 74, so I went 74.
That is weird.
And again, he is the youngest of 9 children.
That is weird.
How cool does that have to be for his... Like, I loved last night that Sportsnet kept showing his parents in the stands.
Were they? That's awesome.
And they were just so elated with that performance. And how could you not
Let's
be?
go back to the brothers. What positions did they play? How do you wear 71, 72, and 73?
Those are not common hockey boy
No.
numbers, you know?
They've never been.
I like the idea of the Oilers inking a few of them here. They're like, listen, injuries are fucking piling up.
We brought on Jujar's brother there a couple years ago. That didn't really work out. Why not take another swing at it?
Yep.
We had the Comrie brothers. Let's go.
Why not?
Oh, that reminded me. Jujar's coming back to town tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Tribute video? They gave one to Matt fucking Benning.
Why wouldn't they give Jujar one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, that was a little tongue in cheek there. But he was here for a while. He was here
How many
longer than
eggplant
Benning.
emojis can fit on that giant screen?
Silver one.
I wondered about that. I was reading about it with the Minnesota Wild.
Stop.
Ryan Suter in the offseason went to Dallas.
Yeah.
And when he went back to Minnesota, he requested to not have a tribute video.
And didn't they give him one?
I don't think they did. I think that they like
Yeah.
maybe I'm
like-
wrong, but
he
I
was
heard
like, hey-
he requested not to have one, which is fascinating because he was the captain.
But I wonder if it
Things
like brings
ended
up
poorly
like extra
there, yeah.
emotions or something like that to make it harder.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that family, I'm not a big fan of that family anyway, so maybe they're just bad people. I don't know. It could be that.
Jujar Kara, 1 goal.
It was his uncle, right?
No, they gave him a fucking tribute video,
they?
still,
Okay, so-
which I think is
Good.
even better.
Good.
That he was
Good.
like, fuck you guys for buying me out. Don't give me a tribute video. And they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna stand up and wave to the XL Energy crowd,
We're
you
gonna make
dick.
it. We're gonna be 2 commercials.
Yeah. Every break is a Suter
His uncle's Gary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, his uncle. If not for his uncle, Gretzky's got 1,000 goals, no problem.
Yep. I agree.
He cross-checked him in the back in like 91 and sent Gretzky on like a 3 or 4 year back issue.
I went down a weird angle because I read about that Rick Bowness thing where he didn't let a player that had survived cancer get into his first NHL game with the Red
And the
Wings
guy
or
spent
something.
his entire game paycheck buying tickets for his family, and Bonus scratched him an hour before the game.
No.
Yeah, so like I went down a really deep Dallas and Detroit wormhole that took me some ugly places. I forgot about Babcock not letting Mike Modano play 1,500 games.
He also didn't let Spezza play the first game in his
First game back in Toronto.
Yeah.
Like,
Can you imagine being the
man, there's
player?
so
Like,
many nasty.
so not only did I was reading about this too, not only did the player spend like his entire game check
Yeah.
on tickets, Nick Bukestad of the Wild stepped up and was
teammate.
like, hey man, to help you out, like, I'll buy you some tickets as well for your family, because this guy had so many family and friends coming to the game, and Bonus scratched
And
him before warm
he had
up.
survived cancer, and his like thing was, I'm gonna get out of this bed and I'm gonna be an NHL player, and that happened. So, anyways, there's something for people to go down a
But
wormhole
Detroit at
on when
least
they're
put
done listening.
Gagne on the top line the last game, though, didn't he?
Yep.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, 900 games for Sam. He got to play
fair.
against the Oilers.
Against
Got
us,
to
yeah.
start.
Which is wild that just worked out.
Isn't it amazing though? Just
It
Sam
always
Gagne.
works that way somehow.
Sam's been around so long now at this point.
He's seen so much.
So much.
Such a good.
What do you got over there, Tom?
Can I
7.
read a quote from this guy? Because
Yes, please.
this
Yeah,
story,
of course.
now that Dan brought up, irritates me. He was talking about how excited he was, and his family in town.
Player's name?
His name is Riley Tuft or Tufty. I went to Bennett's Chop House last night with my family, my parents. We were driving and we took a
What do you
little
have?
detour. We drove past the children's hospital there. I remember when I was 11 years old, sitting in the hospital bed, getting diagnosed with diabetes there. I think 2 days later, when I was in the hospital, somebody walked in. I can't remember who it was. It was a pack of Wild tickets to a suite. He goes on to talk about just how much like the Wild,
Yes.
the Minnesota thing meant to him, blah, blah, blah. They're playing in Minnesota. His family's all there, and Bonus scratched him an hour before the game.
What a dick. That's terrible,
How do you
man.
That
even,
is
like,
awful.
I mean, I get that it's sports, it's competitive. If
But
Bonus
this is
thought
a
there was,
fourth line player going to play a fourth
Right?
line minutes. And
I play him
what time was this?
Play him for 3 seconds and bench him. Who
What
cares?
year was this?
this was like fucking, was
Yeah,
this
it
not?
wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we're talking about a fourth line player, those guys
That's
play
crazy,
like
man.
I'm pretty sure that guy
10
just
minutes anyway.
I'm pretty sure that guy just had his first NHL game. That's why we're talking about it now. But yeah, it's pretty sad how that one went down. We'll put that in the article too.
That's exactly what I expected of that organization after we went through the mid-90s.
I think this was last night. So same night where we have where Sutergate, where he gets a tribute video he apparently didn't want. What a night.
Sutergate.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Boys.
Yep.
I hope you are ready.
For?
It is time for Ask the Idiots.
Ooh.
Our friends at Buster's Pizza, they've got a location near you. Go to busterspizza.ca. Find yourself a location that is adjacent to you.
Time for Ask the Idiots.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Suspenseful.
So
One
we
of
got
us dies
spooky.
at the end.
So as we do every week, I've taken these questions from listeners. They've sent them to me. The boys have not seen them yet. They don't know what's coming their way. And we're going to do a random draw here. I've got my happy assistant, Dan, next to me. We're going to do a draw after to give away a gift card to Buster's Pizza for simply just entering, just sending me a question for Ask the Idiot. So we're going to start this off. We talked about this a little bit already, I suppose. But first question, Tyler, I'm coming to you first. What happened to the PP? After a crazy hot start, we've been cold lately. I know they're still top of the league, and I know we will figure it out. But can someone explain why all of a sudden they're just not scoring as much anymore? What's your take,
I really can't explain it. I think that's just one of the reasons I love the Oilers power play is that they don't seem overcoached, right? I've talked about that before. They really allow just their skilled players to do what they know best, and that's find lanes and get pucks to the net. So I think this is just one of the sort of, I don't want to call it consequences, but effects of letting that happen. When you don't have like one set system and you just kind of let the guys go around and do whatever they want, there's going to be stretches where they just maybe don't really fully click, and I'm fully confident they'll click back again soon.
Rick, what are you thinking? What's going on with the power play right now?
Everything kind of goes up and down, man. They're still at 40.8% right now.
Yep.
They were shooting lights out. Those numbers weren't realistic. They had to come down a bit. They've come down a bit. But it's funny, though, because we're kind of like in the bottom end of the roller coaster ride here, which means they're about to go back up again. They'll be over 50 right away again. I'm sure of it. That's part of the game, man. Ebbs and flows.
Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Part of the game, I think, is just, it's power plays are like stock markets. They just go up and down all the time. You fluctuate, you adjust, you change. I'm learning stocks as we go here. That's why I'm using the analogy. But
buddy, we can talk stocks on this podcast all you want.
But I think I just think it's the way it goes. You know, another team will find something that they can adjust to and disrupt your flow with, and then you're going to find something that you can do to score more goals. It's just the way it is. This team will be operating at or around that 40% mark for the entire season.
Mm-hmm. They're 10.2% up on the next.
I just think that right now, I mean, NHL teams adjust. You know, they do a good job of that. The Oilers are going to figure it out.
Yep.
Ebbs and flows. Ebbs and flows.
You got to mix it up a little. Shoot the puck more, maybe.
Question number 2. I'm going to start with Dan. I'm not sure if this is how... Oh, yes, this is how you submit Ask the Idiot's question. I copied the whole thing. I did not need that.
Michael, read whatever is on the front.
Ron Berge himself.
I really will do that, I swear.
I'm not sure this is how...
My simple question is, did Skinner earn another start against Chicago with an excellent performance against the Jets? Dan?
Apparently no. And that upset some people.
Tyler?
I don't know. Ask Miko. Rick?
Yes.
Question number 3. We always hear that McDavid and Leon are always involved in the goals and have a really high percentage of team goals. I want to know, on big teams like the Cup-winning Penguins, were Crosby and Malkin involved in such a high percentage? They have to be, right? Good players just take control of their teams. Am I wrong? So we're not going to go into the math because I didn't prepare.
Whoever that was is right, though. If you go back, because they'll show you that every now and then. I'm sure it was in the last year and a half, we've probably seen those types of numbers where Connor's at, he's in X amount, and they go back and show you other two. So yes. It's the way it happens.
It's no different than Kane and Taves. It's no different than Kopitar. Ovi and Backstrom. The list just goes on and on.
Unless you have
Every
a team
single
of
Stanley
4
Cup
lines
champion
that are all putting up like 60 points each, then maybe not. But when you got the guys who are putting up 150 and 260 70 between two of them over 82 games.
Yeah.
Of course.
But there's more Stanley Cup champion teams with the superstars than there is the Vegas Golden Knight kind of just team mentality. You don't see a lot of cup champions that way, unless you got the New Jersey Devils, I guess, when you think about them with Broder. There's no real superstar on that team that you can think of.
I just think that the best players are always going to score the most goals, and that doesn't matter what team it is, whether that's the Oilers with Connor and Leon, or like I said, when Ovi won the Cup, he and Backstrom are pumping home points, or Crosby and Malkin. That's just kind of how it goes. The best players get the most points.
Mm-hmm. And in playoffs, it changes too because you don't have as many power plays, and then you're going to see different guys.
You've always got a clutch guy that comes out. Who's the Fernando Pisani that always kind of comes out of nowhere? You know, every team always has one.
We ask that question every year before the playoff runs.
Who's
Kyle Turris.
Question number 4. Is Stuart Skinner the answer, and does he have the potential to be a legitimate number 1 goaltender in the NHL? Rick.
The second answer is yes. In the first part, we played this game earlier this season, and I went with Mr. Hyman was the answer, so I'm going to stick with Hyman as the answer. I see Skinner as an NHL goalie.
Tyler.
Ask Nico. I'm just kidding. I think he has the ability to be like a 1A, 1B kind of guy for them. I mean, again, I kind of got probably a little carried away comparing him to Jordan Binnington earlier on in the podcast.
You're just
why not
their
Jordan
career?
Binnington?
That's just the way their careers are going.
You said why not?
You know,
weren't
like
saying he is.
One good game, he could very well be, Ben Scrivens or Laurent Brossoit in a career backup.
LB had a massive
Andrew
game once,
Rycroft.
too.
Yeah.
Like one of his first games put up like 48 saves or something silly.
So I mean,
Scrivens.
Skinner. It's not even a knock on LB. Like if he's a career backup, that's still a good career to have. Last time I checked, Brossoit's making $2.5 million a year to live in Vegas. Like good living.
Feet up in Vegas.
So yeah, I think when we're going forward here, a nice plan would maybe be next year you have a new legitimate starter and Skinner can back up. And then when that new legitimate starter, 2 or 3 years down the road, you can bring up Konovalov and maybe he can play with a more veteran Skinner. Like I think there's a spot here for Skinner to be an Oiler long term.
Back up next
You're
year.
forgetting Mike Smith is still
It's
part
a
of this
$1 million
organization.
contract. You buy it out, you don't even notice it. That's the way.
Considering how
it's
tight the Oilers are to the cap, yeah, you notice it. Actually, I don't think you can even buy him out, can you?
You
Or
can put him
he's
in the
just-
AHL.
He's allergic to his equipment.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, maybe or just LTIR him, maybe, right? Maybe
Hey.
Smith just sits there and is like, yeah, my knee's fucked.
Put him
You
in the A. Put him in the A.
Soft tissue issues.
I'm still holding out for Duncan Keith to sit there and be like, you know what? That $1 million isn't worth it. I'm retiring. See you guys.
Oh, could you imagine what a blessing that would be?
Yes, I can imagine.
All right, last question. We are just over a month into the season. A little bit of a sample size now. Your thoughts on Zach Hyman. Dan.
He's still everything I've expected of him. Maybe not as maybe he hasn't been as relentless, but I don't think that was necessarily something he could maintain at a pace that he was to start the season. But yeah, he's just the high skill player that we needed up on that top line.
8 goals and 5 assists for 13 points in 16 games. Your thoughts on Zach Hyman. Tyler.
If I'd give him like a letter grade, I'd give him a solid an A. Better than an A minus, not quite an A plus, but an A. Like he's just fit in perfectly.
Yep.
I think we maybe didn't realize how skilled he was as well. That goal he scored against Boston was sweet. We kind of just looked at him in Toronto as the guy that rode shotgun with Matthews. But last time I checked too, he was leading the Oilers in shorthanded time on ice amongst their forwards. He's done a little bit of everything for the Oilers, and he seems to be good in every area of the ice. So I give him a solid A.
Rick.
Yeah, I'm fully on board with that. He's maybe giving me a couple more points than I didn't quite expect. I know everyone's like, hey, he's never scored X amount of goals or points in this, blah, whatever the hell it was going in. But he's doing all the little things properly, and he's putting up the points. So I'm fully on that. This guy's doing great.
The interesting thing, too, is I'm trying to make a point of just having different games on in the background, just to see what's going on. I was really curious, actually, to see what reffing is like in different games and whether it's as inconsistent if you're watching other teams that aren't the Oilers. And I was watching a Leafs game the other day, and they were trying to fill the Zach Hyman hole with different guys, and you see how much they miss him in their top 6. So Zach Hyman's everything that I needed.
We went through years of that, trying to fill that. It wasn't really Zach Hyman hole at the time, but we were trying to fill a hole that he ended up filling.
And he's so versatile, playing in all situations. It's having guys like that and just relentless work ethic. So his goal scoring is petered off a little bit here of late, but he'll pick it back up.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't make you miss Tyrati, hey?
No.
How dare you?
Always miss Tyrati.
How fucking dare you? Tyrati. Probably he's lighting it up wherever he's playing now.
Is he in Calgary?
Kunlun.
No, it's Pitlick.
Yeah, Pitlick. There's no way Ratty's in. Like he's.
Yeah, no, I was thinking Pitlick.
He's in the KHL, I would assume.
We're going to check
Come on,
it.
if Pitlick can be playing in the NHL right now, there's no reason why.
I like Pitlick.
That's fair.
Pitlick's-
No, but that's fine.
Remember that year? Remember that year
Pitlick's
he got off to like
injury.
a crazy start. He had like
Yeah.
6 goals in 11 games, and he tore his fucking ACL against St. Louis.
It's
His
just
injuries are just
Tyler Pitlick is always just one hit away from bursting into glitter. You know what I mean? It's such a bummer for that dude. By the way, Ty Ratty playing in the Swedish Elite League.
Good for him.
7 goals and 9 assists in 18 games, so he's doing fine for himself.
the answer for Timura.
And there you go. Ask the Idiots for the week is done. If you want to get in on this, if you want a chance at a Buster's Pizza gift card, send me a question. Hit me up on Instagram or on Twitter. Slide into them DMs. I don't show the boys the questions beforehand. And my happy assistant, Nation Dan, is pulling out a name of this week's winner. Who you got?
Dun, 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 dun.
Mitch.
We got Mitch.
Mitch who?
Mitch.
Big Mitch.
Okay.
Just Big
Zoom
Mitch.
in on that,
That's all
Tyler?
you need.
Can you zoom in on
I
that
already-
for me?
Hopefully, there's only one Mitch that's involved in this.
There's only one Mitch. So he asked the question about...
Just do a quality check. Also, Mitch.
all 4 entries are Mitch. Mitch asked the question about the big guys having a higher points percentage on the Oilers relative to other good teams.
Nice. The one question we didn't really answer.
Yep.
We answered. We could be completely wrong, though.
Well, that's a tough one, right?
We're just
Without
trying
having the
not to be.
stats in front of you.
Yeah.
Like,
Emphasis on the idiots.
yeah,
Touche.
that's the point of it. That's the point of it.
We all made idiotic answers to it.
Sometimes you got to. Sometimes you don't know, so you make shit up. That's what works.
It's called life.
That's
what?
the last 14 years at Oilers Nation. Sometimes you don't know and you make shit up.
Yeah, look where you are now.
Mm-hmm. Got TVs on the wall now.
It's true.
Just watching highlights. I'm going to go back to watching highlights when this is done.
Got couches out there.
Tyler, it is time to get your buttons ready.
Sure.
It is Deuce Vodka, hot and cold performer time. If you go to deucevodka.com, again, you've heard me say it. Brett Kissel, handsome face, right on the front of the website. On the side, right-hand side, find in store. That's your store locator. Find where you can get a bottle of Deuce Vodka. Enjoy your weekend responsibly. Make a Caesar, maybe a vodka soda, little slice of lime in there, maybe a cucumber.
Fresh.
Very fresh. DeuceVodka.com. Find all the info you need, all the locations. If you're in Saskatchewan, email sales@DeuceVodka. They will help you find it. So, again, DeuceVodka.com. As we do every week, we start off with our veggies, looking at the last 7 days. The downers in our life. Nation Dan, I'm starting with you, your Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week.
Well, my cold performer of the week is going to go in hindsight to all those people that hated the idea of the men's national team playing games in the dead of winter in Edmonton. I absolutely loved every second of the 90 minutes times 2 that we got to watch.
Did you go?
I got to go to the one against Costa Rica.
I was at Tuesday.
I did not tough it out in Mexico, but full credit to Rick and all of the Edmontonians and visitors that were in attendance for the game on Tuesday, because that crowd was electric and that environment was frigid. So my cold performer of the week is going to go to the haters that were doubting that we couldn't put on a good show in the Great White North.
Are you thrilled? I'm not.
What a day for a soccer game.
That was your cold performer?
Yeah, I know. It's
The haters,
like a
the haters,
the
not
haters,
theirs.
man.
There were so many people that thought that it was a dumb gimmick and hated on it because of that. Man, Mexico makes us play in minus or plus 44 degree weather at altitude.
I will go in January if they were to put it in Edmonton.
100%. I'm right there with you.
There's
It
one
was
thing
fun, man.
There's one thing Edmontonians do. We step up for a sporting event.
There's such a difference between that crowd and what I was at last night. Like, I got to stand up the whole damn time in soccer. I mean, I yelled just the same as I do in hockey. That's fine. Wow. There's just so much more energy in the fans.
Chants.
And you know what the funny thing is? Is that there was no in stadium entertainment. The fans brought the fun. The fans were the reason why it was like that. Let's do this at Rogers too, please.
Important
I was
question
told
for you,
last
though.
night I just sit down.
Important question for you.
Yes.
Were there any streakers for the game on Tuesday night?
No.
They had
We had-
RCMP.
We
Zero.
had 3 or 4
They had
in the
like-
one on Friday
Yeah,
night.
like pitch invaders, we'll call them. Because I think
Yes.
streaking, you need to get
Yeah.
buck.
Well, there was
And
one
they did
guy.
not.
One
Yeah,
guy
we
in
want to see them
boxers.
twig and berries.
The guy that got absolutely
at least
destroyed.
at least the dude in at the Heritage game back in 03, I believe he went.
Yeah, he got naked.
He went
Full
bare.
on. There you go.
Props to that guy.
Someone at
that
the
was
Oilers
cold.
game last night threw a shoe on the ice.
Yeah, I was. I didn't know what that game.
I saw Mimamoto he Instagrammed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. He was a section over from me. I'm like, that guy's making a lot of noise about the reffing. And I looked, I'm like, oop, there goes the shoe.
That was not me, by the record.
That is one way to get your point across, though.
By the way, don't throw shoes on the ice.
He got kicked out.
Yeah.
So he didn't get to see
What
Kyle
an
Turner's
idiot,
shootout
man.
winner.
Like, it was like slushy outside. That is not comfortable to walk in.
Nope.
Yeah, he's going to get my cold performer. Fuck it. I was going to give it to Rick Bonus, but we already talked about that.
All right, Tyler, your Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week.
Yeah, this guy who threw the shoe on the ice, man. Don't be dumb. You got to, like, hit one of the ice scrapers or something like that. Like, don't throw shoes on the ice. That's not smart. Come on. Smart now.
Rick, your Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week.
The injury gods, man.
Yep.
We're in it right now. I get it. Everyone has to go through it. I'd prefer that nobody goes through it. But it is what it is, and we'll get through it. But, yeah, it's thumbs down to the injury gods.
Oh, that's cold.
I'm going to wrap it up. My Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week is the NHL schedule. We don't get another game against the Jets until January. We got to wait 2 more months for this. I mean, this rivalry between these two teams is so much fun, and it's a bummer that I got to wait 2 months.
Dude, those guys need to go through some therapy after that goal. Like, allow them to, like, fix their innards first.
No.
It's crazy what a
I wanna
playoff
kick 'em while
round
they're
can do
down.
for you.
I like it.
I want to kick them while they're down. You know what? Let's get another playoff round against the Jets. Schedule maker, I hate you.
That's a joke.
Thank you.
That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Let's look at the positive sides in life. Last 7 days, there's some happy moments. Rick, your Deuce Vodka hot performer of the week.
Everybody that went to the game on Tuesday, like I said a second ago, it was just such a difference in, I don't know, the way you fan, I guess. You've watched soccer all the time. You see it in different countries. There's teams that are like 0-18, and their crowd is going nuts the whole damn time, right? That's just what they do. It is part of it. There's no logic behind it. It's part of being a fan. It's short for fanatic. There's no logic there. What we got to do on Tuesday was something I never got to be a part of before. Always wanted to. It was great. It finished well. There was, the hometown stuff. It was fantastic. So everybody on Tuesday night, the whole situation, that's a hot performer.
Put some respect on my name.
Tyler Yaremchuk, your Deuce Vodka hot performer of the week.
Yeah, I'm actually going to follow up with Rick. Give some love to the Canada men's national team. That was a ton of fun. The keeper for Canada was unbelievable. He was energetic. He was running around the field. He was starting fights. He was starting fights, and then he was breaking up fights, and then he was pushing his own teammates. It was absolutely wild. But yeah, I loved every bit of that. I realized on my way to the game, I'm like, man, I've never seen like a competitive soccer match before. And it's, again, this is probably true with all sports, but you sit down and you see it in person, and you're like, man, I got a lot more respect for this game. Like, it's way more physical than I think hockey fans ever want to give it credit for. It was just all in all a really, really cool experience. So Canada men's national team and all the organizers, they get my hot performer of the week.
I think it's also interesting, too, that if the Canadian men's team, along with the women who also won the gold at the Olympic, they make the World Cup for the first time since '86, what that's going to do for the growth of soccer in this country, which is only a good thing. The barrier to entry in soccer is so low. All you need is a ball.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, that if more kids are watching soccer and getting into it, they feel like they can participate in it.
There's so many of the players on our Canada team right now that are actually like large parts of their team when you sprinkle them out throughout the world.
So it's fun to watch the growth of Canadian men's soccer. Why not?
How many of those snowpile jumps do you think the kids are going to do this winter
Oh, of
on
course.
the fields in Edmonton?
Yeah.
Of course.
Right? That's
Zip
exactly
bog
it for
during
me.
recess, yeah.
That you create iconic moments when you do stuff like that.
That should be on a coin.
Yep.
That's one of our heritage moments from those old CBC commercials, along with the house hippo, Dan.
Which are starting to come back. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a new company that's pumping out some new heritage moments. I'm excited.
The peach basket one?
No, these are new and more
I
cultural.
can take my arm
I
off.
think.
You can't.
Yeah.
So play safe.
Yeah. That wasn't one of those. That was another one. Another ad completely.
Yeah, I think
Which
that was,
Tyler's
I
just
think that was for
what
the war
was
ants.
that? I can't remember the name of that robot.
Nation Dan,
Yes.
your Deuce Vodka hot for the week.
I have to recover from Rick's thing. My hot performer of the week. I can't decide. It's going between McDavid's.
You remember those Canada Heritage things? Yeah, the Warhouse commercial.
Was that the Warhouse?
Yeah,
I just remember him doing all the things. You play safe, kids. All right, fair enough.
We had a
Fantastic
little
commercial.
journey with Rick there through the memory banks, how that works.
Yep.
But I can't decide who I'm going to give the hot performer to. It's either going to go to McDavid for his mention of Tortorella telling him to shut up in his press conference yesterday before the game.
So good.
Or it's going to go to Kennedy's Trash for her design of the new Play La Bomba Nation gear, which you can check over at nationgear.ca right now. So be able to rep that. I will be repping one of those soon. I bugged Jared the minute
Selling
that we dropped
very
it.
well so
Selling
far.
very well, yeah, as we knew they would. And it'll sell every game that we win from here on in. And so, I guess my hot performer will go to Kennedy for that design.
Sorry, Connor.
Put some respect on my name.
Kennedy rules.
Kennedy's trash.
That's right. And you know what the fun part about it is that there are other people now that listen to this podcast that call her that on Twitter. It's the best. Kennedy rule.
I don't know if she gets it though.
That stuff
Does she?
takes
she knows.
off.
Oh, she
Yeah,
listens.
she gets
She
it.
listens.
Of course, everybody's listening to this podcast. I haven't done reviews in a while. I don't know if there are any ones, but please leave a review. I'll do that next week. I promise. My Deuce Vodka hot performer of the week is, I'm just going to go, you guys all had good answers. You guys all had good answers. You know what? I'm going to shout out my cousin Richard, who's been texting me through this podcast. He just wants to know where to buy Nation gear, so I'm going to send him to our friends at Sports Closet. That's it. That's my hot performer of the week. My cousin Richard. Happy 50th birthday to you.
He's a hot guy.
He is a hot guy. And he's going to look even hotter when he gets some fresh Nation gear. From myself, Dan, Tyler, Rick, this is Oilers Nation Radio, episode 167. Are we going to get it? Is the Bluetooth working?
He's forgot about this already.
Oh,
He's
shit. No.
scrambling.
We're going to vamp here a little bit while Tyler gets his. So yesterday during the Real Life podcast, the thing that, if you don't listen to Real Life, Tyler had a Nate student shadowing him yesterday.
I thought you were going to play the War Amps commercial for us.
And he could not
fantastic.
get his phone connected to the board yesterday on Real Life while he was trying to show us stuff. So secondary hot performer of the week is Gavin from Nate, who had to watch Tyler make mistake after
Isn't there
mistake
like a
yesterday.
cord you can just plug in?
Or a device pairing thing like every other device.
It's connected. That's why I'm so mad. It's because it says it's.
I don't hear it, Tyler. If
Yeah,
it's
I don't
connected,
hear it.
I don't hear it.
You can also just hold it up to your mic to do this old school.
I don't think I hear it, Tyler.
I did hear it. There you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, that's in my ears.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Oh, nailed it.
We're going. All right. Yeah, we
didn't
don't
leave
get the
fast
goal
enough.
song.
What the fuck?
Oilers Nation Radio, episode 167. Thank you for being here. For our friends at DoorDash, Oodle Noodle, Cornerstone Insurance, Deuce Falcon, Buster's Pizza. I'm Bag Milk. Dan, Rick, Tyler will be back next Friday.
Maybe with Fluxland?
Maybe with Fluxland. Maybe Tyler will finally connect that brand new iPhone 13.
I can see that phone
he's
going out the
flexing.
window right away here, by the way.
Absolutely. Honorary cold performer of the week.
It says
Tyler
it's
Ramchak.
playing.
Shout out Jack Michaels.
Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, delivered by DoorDash. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.